Yeah, man. Welcome. My name is 12 Gauge. Welcome to my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. Hope everybody is doing well on this Sunday. I decided to go live a little earlier. I said I was going to do 8 p.m., but I got most of my stuff done a little earlier than I thought, so I thought I'd get on here and we'd go back to reading these documents. Welcome to the people that are in here. Angel Gordon, welcome. You said this is your first time. I'm glad. We're not going to let that stop us. Firefly, thank you for being here. As you all know, yeah, no, I saw it. I hope y'all can hear me now. Waiting for everybody to kind of get in here, get situated, and we'll get started. We are on page 27. We went that far. We went that far yesterday and we were having a good time. I don't know if Nina knows that I'm on, but if y'all could put a link in Discord to let her know that I'm on, and maybe she can come in here and do what she does. She assists very well. So let's spend some time together, shall we? Shall we? There we go. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about these documents and there was a lot of stuff that we learned yesterday and I thought it was pretty interesting as well. Um, this administrative information is the ISP or the Idaho State Police. The agency assists other, and they give the drive where it's where it's located, um, and that they're going to interview certain people. The summary narrative says on November 18, 2022, Idaho State Police detectives interviewed this person regarding multiple homicides which took place in Moscow, Idaho. The interview took place at the Idaho State Police District 3 office in Meridian, Idaho. The witness that they're interviewing is a female, age 21. The address is Moscow, Idaho. And the property that they took from this person was computer hardware, software, data processing equipment. So let me see who's in here. Is Nina in here? Well, no problem, Kylie. No problem. Thank you for being here. And it said on November 18, 2022, at approximately 11:08 a.m., Idaho State Police Investigations Lieutenant Catlin and I interviewed this person. The interview took place at the Idaho State Police District 3 office in Meridian, Idaho. Her father was present for the interview. During the interview, she stated the following. She lived at the home in Moscow, Idaho during the incident. Her backyard abutted 1122 King Road residence, or the backyard. She knew Madison Mogan, Kaylee, and Dana. She did not know Ethan. She was closest with Mogan and Gonsalves. She was in the sorority with Gonsalves. The rest of the house was in the sorority. Gonsalves had dropped the sorority house membership that year due to financial cost. Okay, so the fact that many people have stated that Kaylee was rich, she was doing all this other stuff behind the scenes in order to be extremely wealthy and all this other stuff. Obviously, this individual stated that she dropped the sorority due to financial issues. So that makes sense. I mean, we always wondered what caused her to drop out of the sorority. So, um, Gonsalves was out of town most of the week, but had decided to come back near at the end of the week to go to the Pi Phi formal on Friday, November 11th, with one of her roommates. Friday night, Gonsalves had asked her to go to the club, which she did not. She did go out Saturday to a game day celebration at about 2 to 2:30 p.m. at the big redacted apartment. She left and went to the game at approximately 4:40 p.m. while Gonsalves and Mogan stayed at the party. Saturday night, she went to the Dirty Goat, a local bar. Gonsalves contacted her and wanted her to go to the corner club. So it just sounds like normal college age stuff. You know, you're calling your people, you're saying, you know what, we want you to stop by. We want you to meet us at the corner club. I'm doing great, Jeff. Hope you're doing it good as well. So she had a small run in with Redacted at the corner club. Redacted was kicked out of the bar around the same time or not too long before. Mogan and Gonsalves left the corner club. She stayed at the corner club until approximately 2 a.m. and arrived home at approximately 2:30. She was up until 3:30 a.m. and did not hear anything. So there's some people that do not understand the approximate wording. Approximate is never to be taken as specific. And Jeff H. Schooled me on this one time early on because we were having a conversation off camera, and we I was reading something and he said that's approximate, meaning it could be a couple minutes before, it could be a couple minutes after. So I kind of took that to heart and said, well, you know what, Jeff has a point there. I gave him the win and kind of went with it. So I've been trying to pass that along as knowledge, whether you believe it or whether you don't. Um, Approximate means, a couple minutes before, a couple minutes after. It is never supposed to mean the appropriate time frame that many people want to put these statements as meaning. So this person didn't hear anything. She woke up Sunday morning at approximately 7:30, approximately, give or take. She had been in a different room than her own. She and the roommates made breakfast around 8:30 a.m. Later, when she went to her room, she could see a lot of police cars next door. She spoke with the Uber driver who told her he was pretty sure he had taken Mogan and Gonsalves home that night. Drove He drove a smaller gray sedan. Gonsalves' old room was the room Kernodle was living in. Gonsalves recently moved into the room on the third floor after this person said she was not moving back in. So we had always thought that Ashland Couch, or I'm not going to say we because I can't speak for the chat. Okay, I have always thought um, that Ashland Couch was the one that was living in Xana's old room. So now, if you knew that Kaylee was living there, well, kudos to you because I didn't know that. Yeah, approximately 1 point a year. You're due. So I don't know how many of y'all knew that, but I didn't have a clue that Kaylee was living in Xana's old room. So you let me know in chat if you knew that information. If you did, that's awesome because I had no clue. Okay. Um, Gonsalves did not seem all too worried about a stalker or any other dangers. She thought Gonsalves would have said something if there was a real stalker. Gonsalves would have been scared if she had had a stalker. Instead, Gonsalves was planning events for them all the time. Her bedroom window looks out onto 1122 King Road's backyard. She can usually hear anything going on in their backyard. Murphy the dog at 1122 King Road usually barks a little bit, and she can generally hear it, which she didn't recall hearing that night. She had booked tickets with Gonsalves to go to Europe together, approximately 3 weeks prior to the homicides. Gonsalves had recently sold a white Subaru sedan for approximately $6,300 to a man using Facebook Marketplace. So, if you sell something for $6,300 and then you buy another a vehicle, is it not just common knowledge that you would use that $6,300 either as a down payment or just give it all toward the new vehicle? Let me know what you think about that, chat. Because these females have been ridiculed about their financial statistics for so long. Now you're hearing that she had sold this vehicle, her prior car, for $6,300. So doesn't that make sense that if she received that much money, she would have put that amount on her new Range Rover? Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if you think that that's wrong or whatever. Tell me what you think about that newfound knowledge, because I don't know anybody who knew how much she had sold that vehicle for. Um, so she had sold it to a man using Facebook Marketplace. Gonsalves had just purchased a Range Rover the previous day. Gonsalves was making good money, but a Range Rover seemed expensive. Gonsalves was recently offering to buy drinks for friends quite often. Gonsalves had planned to move to Texas and had a temporary male roommate arranged down there. Gonsalves had an ex boyfriend who is the neighbor. Kaylee and JD dated for approximately 6 years. Kaylee and JD dated all summer while Kaylee and Blank dated all summer while Kaylee was up in Moscow working. Kaylee and Blank were not together but were good friends. Kaylee and JD shared a dog, Murphy, together. Maddie had a boyfriend in Boise who was friends with a lot of redacted friends who had graduated. Kaylee stayed in her old room while she was living in Moscow all summer. Kaylee had only had one roommate during that summer. Kaylee worked for, I think we verified that she worked for Dutch Brothers, did she not? Um, so I believe that she worked for Dutch Brothers. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the chat. Um, and ended up getting a full-time offer starting February 2023. She did not think Kaylee went out much during the summer. Blank had just graduated and stayed in Moscow for the summer. She did not think Redacted had anything to do with the incident. Blank showed a video from a party earlier on game day which showed that Blank was wearing which appeared to be the same as a person from a video from the grub truck. Remembers Kaylee and Maddie saying they were going to John's Alley and Redacted was going to go with them. So we heard earlier on that JS was going to go with them to John's Alley. So um, this is um, this is what I'm going to go with. Redacted was not good friends with Kaylee and Maddie, but Maddie is kind of friends with a lot of the people involved with the Greek houses. Blank is in the same pledge class year, so as Kaylee and Maddie, and has been to a lot of their classes. Blank showed a screenshot of the group message obtained by blank, 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 blank. The author of the message seemed to know a lot of the information regarding the homicides. Blank Blank had read some creepy comments on YouTube and obtained screenshots of some of them. She turned them over. They turned them over to a flash drive with some of the comments. She did not believe there was a party at 1122 King Road on Saturday night. So we have always, once again, I'm going to say myself because I can't speak for you, but I had always believed that there was a party on Saturday night. Now we're hearing that there's a lot of people that don't believe that there was. Tell me what you think about that party on Saturday night. Was that just YouTube talking, or was that something that you heard or read? Um, People also often use the sliding door at the main entrance to the house. She does not think it was usually locked. Kaylee and Maddie didn't use drugs. Once again, we hear that they're not using drugs. She didn't know Kernodle well enough to comment on her. The neighbor's dog behind them also did not bark at anything that night. That's interesting that she knows that. She or he, whoever this is. It said female, so it's a female. The interview ended at approximately 11:53 a.m. For complete details, review audio recording of the interview. And once again, all this stuff is filled out because if you don't know what these are called, these are usually called interview forms or incident reports. So a lot of times, that's why they're filled out the way they are. I had always thought, um, maybe keep the line you're reading at the center of the frame. Your picture is blocking. Okay. I thought that earlier too. So, um, I'm sorry about that. Let me move it to. No, I'll just do what you suggested. That is a good thought. I did think that there was a party there on Saturday night, but we're hearing otherwise. Many people did not believe that there was. It says on November 18th at approximately 11:36 a.m., investigators interviewed so and so. Date of birth, blank 2000, in regard to the homicides of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. The interview took place at, I guess, their home located at this in Parma Canyon County, Idaho. This person is a male. He's 22 years old, not a Hispanic origin. Um, the property. Also, there was a CD with audio recording of the blank interview. There was a radio, TV, home electronics, audio, laser, compact disc, CD, DVD, recordings, audio, visual, and it was successful. So here we go. Jeff, would you like to come up here and read? I haven't had you up here in a long time. Would you like to do that? Let me put my picture on this side where the documents are. If you would, come on up. Let me know. I'll send you the link. Um, It says on November 18, 2022, at approximately 11:36 a.m., Homeland Security Investigation Task Force Officer TFO Sage Collins and ISP Detective Mac Worsing, interviewed this person in regard to the homicides of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. The interview took place at this person's home, I'm sure, located at the address in Parma Canyon County, Idaho. The following is a summary of the statement. This person was a friend of Kaylee and Maddie and was also their neighbor across the street at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Latah County, Idaho. He did not know the other two victims. Kaylee was in an off and on dating relationship with one of this person's roommates. They were in the same fraternity and they also knew Maddie's boyfriend, but he had graduated and was living in Boise. He knew Gonsalves a little more than Mogan because she had dated this person, and he said the relationship remained amicable. If you don't want to read, can you come up and kind of watch? There's Nina. Can you come up and watch the chat? Yeah, I think we all have lost brain cells today, Nina. Here's the link, Nina, if you want to come up, or I'll send it to your email. Mama always said these shoes would take me anywhere, whenever I was going somewhere. I was running. There you go, Nina. I sent you the link in your email. So if you want to come up and at least monitor the chat for me, that'd be great. Okay, so I sent it to your email, so let me know. I can hear whenever you come in. Um, Here we go. Blank and his girlfriend, so and so, were at his house on Saturday, November 12th. Blank went to the victim's house around 10 p.m. At approximately 10:45 p.m., Kaylee and Maddie got a ride to the Corner Club bar, located at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. He believed they got a ride from an Uber driver named Blank. He and his friends went to the Corner Club shortly after the girls left. Hey, warning label.
Oh my God, I need a warning label today.
I heard you guys were all over the place this morning. Did y'all have fun?
I have lost brain cells.
Oh, yeah? Well, we're back. We're back in a safe place here, so.
Oh, thank God.
Will you please monitor the chat, or do you want to read and I
Hey,
monitor the
I'm
chat?
prepared to read.
Okay, well,
What page are we on?
we are on page 31 and we are on number 5.
31, number 5.
Or hold
That
on,
sounds
number 4. At number 4, we're on number 4.
number 4. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Let her rip.
I didn't do this to I didn't put it like on my channel because that's when I try to watch both of them and everything, even though they show up on one.
Yeah,
But so it's just on this one. So no disrespect to anybody, but with me trying to read, I wanted to make sure that everybody was in like one place.
I get that. I get that.
All right. Number 4. After approximately an hour, Blank spoke with Goncalves, and I hate saying that name because I mess it up,
Well,
and
just call it
Mogan.
Kaylee. Just
Okay,
call them
Kaylee.
Kaylee and Maddie. Kaylee and Maddie.
Spoke with spoke with Kaylee and Maddie briefly while at the corner club before they left. Blank told Blank the two girls were going to John's Alley Tavern, located at 114 East 6th Street in Moscow. Number 5, Blank saw they were hanging out with another student he identified as blank blank and saw them leave the corner club with blank blank, which that's too long to be Jack. Anyway, told Blank the two girls did not typically hang out with blank and blank, thought it was odd. Number 6, Blank and Blank walked to Blank house at approximately 1:30 a.m. and stayed there. They woke up the next morning, Sunday, November the 13th, went and got breakfast, and Blank drove Blank to his house at approximately 11:45 a.m. There was only one police vehicle in front of the residence when they drove by. Huh, they didn't call until 11:56 a.m. Hmm, okay. Blank went outside with Blank and another roommate, blank blank, and watched more law enforcement respond to the scene. Wait a minute, I'm wrong. 11:56 is when they caught. Okay, I'll explain that in a few minutes.
What
There was
says
all
approximately? So it
right.
could
Yeah,
be.
right.
Get
You
that
know
brain
we
cell
have to have
back.
exact.
Get
We
it.
have to have exact times.
Get that. Get that brain cell back.
I'm trying. Damn it. We have to have exact times. We
No,
can't
we
have no
don't.
approximations.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Ran to the victim's house and was there approximately an hour and a half before returning. Blank was visibly upset and told Blank and Blank some of the girls had died and Kaylee was one of them. Wow. Blank left Moscow later on Sunday. I don't blame any of them for leaving. Blank clarified he and Blank went to the grub truck on their way from the corner club to Blank's house. He also saw on social media Kaylee and Maddie went to the grub truck after he blank were there. Blank. Okay. Blank thought they may have been at the grub truck between 3 and 3:30 a.m. based on when they posted to their social media. Is that Boise time or Moscow time?
No. We're gonna go with what the document says.
The grub truck broadcasted a live feed that captured the two girls at the truck. Number 9. Blank thought it was odd that Blank spent so much time around the two girls.
JS,
Number 10.
right? Yeah.
Yes. Number 10. Blank had heard Blank may have committed the murder, but said Blank went home with their other roommates. Blank and blank when he and Blank left the corner club. So how did that? Okay. Blank, fourth roommate, blank, worked at blank. We know who that is, but would have gone home around 4 after closing down blank. Okay. There were also 2 more students that lived above and blank that were hanging out with blank and blank before they all went to bed. Sounds like everybody's got alibis to me. They full of blanks.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, come on, you ain't got that many people around you and you killing folks. No, well, I don't know. With some of this stuff I've heard today, you may have, because I think there's like 15 of them that got together in a fight club and went down in the tunnels. Anyway, number 11. Sorry.
Yep.
Blank told Blank he had been woken up between 4 and 4:45 because Blank and Kaylee's dog had been barking very loudly. Wow. Because blank. So somebody else's dog? So that's 2 people's dogs barking.
It sounded as though the dog was outside, which was odd because of how cold it was, and the dog was not being an outside dog.
Yeah, but it says that he was woken up between 4 and 4:45. Oh, because JD and Kaylee's dog. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 12, did not know the 2 roommates that were not injured and found it odd they were sitting in their rooms and slept through the incident. That's what was told at the beginning. This is a fluid thing going on, so things can change. Blank was not aware of any of the victims having a stalker. He mentioned a stalker from earlier in the year. He was not aware of them having a stalker, but he mentioned a stalker.
Right.
Okay, that lived in blank apartments that had already been reported to police. Number 14, the interview was concluded at 12:09. For further details from blank statement, see notes and listen to audio. And let me turn my food. I'll be right back.
All right. I can't wait. I can't wait to get the audio because that's gonna be so much more clarity that these people are gonna be talking that they were not told what to say. They might have been asked questions that the questions are not obviously in this narrative because it's not relative. So that's interesting. I can't wait. Can't wait to get the audio portions. Okay, witness number 1, individual, another female, age 21, and this person is from Coeur d'Alene. She's 21. The evidence that was taken was a radio, TV, home electronics, audio, laser, compact disc that was put on. All this stuff was put on. Recordings, audio, and visual was put on this audio, laser, compact disc. The narrative states on November 18th, we already know that approximately 12:16 p.m., another Homeland Security Investigation Task Force officer, Sage, and I, the ISP, Detective Matt Warsing, interviewed this person. This person was born in 2001 in regard to the homicide of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. And this interview took place at this person's boyfriend's home, located in Parma Canyon County, Idaho. The following is the summary of this person's statement. If you've followed this case at all, you know exactly who these people are, even though it's redacted. We can put process of elimination, and we pretty much know that these two people were interviewed together because they were shown in a docu-series and probably told what they told. You know what I mean? On Saturday, November 12th, 2022, this person was at a college house located at whatever address, King Road in Moscow. She called Kaylee at approximately 10 p.m. and went over to her house. Maddie came home from the party house, I guess, some other house shortly after. So at 10 p.m., this person called Kaylee, and then Maddie came home shortly after. Gonsalves had contacted a man by the name of blank to give them a ride from their house. This person did not know this person's last name, but provided his phone number as blank, 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 blank. When the person arrived to pick them up, Kaylee got in the front seat, and this person and Mogan got in the back seat. This person had recently had a baby, and this person asked him how fatherhood was. This person said they were feeling down about it and let out a big sigh. He said it was harder than he expected and had been kind of hard on him. He also said his wife and kid were out of town and he was excited to have the house to himself for the weekend. This person dropped the girls off at the corner club and told them he would be driving until 3 a.m. There's a lot of redactions. We're friends of the girls and we're already at the bar. So all these people were already at the bar and they were friends of the girls. So there was more alibis. This person told this person he would also go to the corner club. Blank and blank shared a class with a guy named Redacted who was also at the corner club. This person began creeping this person out by staring at her and making comments to her. This person also spoke to so and so saying he needed to get her blank GD phone number right now and was being kind of aggressive. This person hung around the girls at the bar for a while. This person said Kaylee and Maddie left to go to John's Alley in Moscow and heard this person went with them. She didn't see him leave with the girls, but thought it would be weird if that was true. This person went, the girls had apparently asked this person to go with them as well, but he stayed at the corner club. So possibly that was JD. This person left the corner club with this person at approximately 1:15 a.m. and went to the grub truck. They got food at the grub truck and went to Blank's house at Blank in Moscow to eat and go to bed. I asked Blank why it would have been odd for the girl to leave with so and so. She said this person was not someone she or other girls hung out with because he was weird. He smoked a lot of pot, had a temper, and fought a lot. The girls knew so and so because he was a blank or a member of the something fraternity. Maddie's boyfriend was also a member, and the sororities would often hang out with blank. Kaylee and Maddie had sent videos of themselves at the grub truck to a Snapchat group around 2 a.m. They had not heard of Kaylee having a stalker. She said the victims were pretty and liked and did not know of any issues the victims had with anyone. This person thought they may have been working at the blank the night of the incident, as well as blank and blank. Blank said there was a lot of Instagram accounts that were surfacing. The accounts had few followers, but were following many of the girls and making comments such as, "You're next. Thank God they're gone." and I'm going to do it again. Blank thought Blank involvement with the sorority girls was odd. He would frequently drop other rides for them and gave them his personal phone number. He seemed to pay particular attention to certain members. This started with two sorority girls that already graduated and passed their phone number on to them. The interview was conducted at 1:05 p.m. or 1:03 p.m. For complete details of the statement, review audio recording of the interview.
Um,
Interesting.
just some FYI on the fraternity.
Yeah.
Um, the fraternity, I believe, in my opinion, is AKL because Maddie's boyfriend was AKL along with Lake Campbell, Steve G. Jr., and Showalter.
Okay. What you eating?
I'm cooking corned beef hash right now.
Oh, nice. I made me a pizza.
I saw that. Hey, did you see the screenshot that I put in Discord about the sheetrock in Maddie's room?
I have not yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
I have not.
it's in there. The defense expert cut it out.
Okay. Okay, you're up.
Oh, I'm up. Oh, good. I get a short one. Do I read like Do I read like Witness and Meridian and all that?
Yeah, let's just start with that because I mean, it basically telling the date and just read like the witness, a
Right.
white
Okay.
female,
Well,
age 19.
this one is reported 11/21/22. That's when it's reported. I guess that's when it's typed up.
Mm-hmm.
And on 11/18 at approximately 2:13, ISP detectives interviewed blank blank. This witness is an individual white female, Meridian, Idaho. Um, and then they did it on audio and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very short one.
Okay.
So, and it is supplement number 10. And okay, on number 1, it says on 11/18/22 at approximately 2:13 p.m., Idaho State Police Detective Miller and I interviewed blank blank at the ISP District 3 office in Meridian, Idaho, regarding the homicides which occurred at the University of Idaho on November the 13th. Blank stated the following. Number 2, she's part of the blank sorority at the University of Idaho. She knew Ethan Chapin through his blank fraternity. She got to know Xana Kernodle through Chapin. She didn't know Kaylee or Madison very well. She knew Chapin and Kernodle for 1.5 years. She currently lives at the sorority house and has never been to the 1122 King Road house. She was at the blank fraternity house on Saturday night, November the 12th, for a party. Chapin and Kernodle were at the party. She had never heard of any sort of stalking incidents. She was with Kernodle until 2 a.m. She took a picture with Kernodle and walked home. Chapin and Kernodle remained at the party. She had no further contact with them. Kernodle had been dating Chapin for about a year. Everyone had a crush on Kernodle. I can see that. She heard Blank was at the 1122 King Road house after the Blank party. Blank is a Blank and a PC brother of Chapin. The interview concluded at 2:26 p.m.
That was short.
Yeah, your turn.
Okay, this one is a female, white female, 22. Um, date of birth is 2000. So the evidence was just the interview, it looks like. There wasn't anything else taken. It says on November 18, 2022, Idaho State Police Detective Sergeant Hoaxie and Detective Pacina interviewed University of Idaho student, date of birth 2000. She had her, I guess, her parents or somebody present for the interview. I asked to explain her day, stating the following. This person stated it was game day, college football. Her and her friends attended a pregame at the apartment complex approximately 3 p.m. She remembers talking to Madison Mogan and Kaylee at the pregame and was sure she saw the rest of the roommates there. She remembers seeing Xana as well. At approximately 3:50 p.m., this person said she left the pregame and went to the game and started at 4 p.m. She said she was going to help Kaylee get a ticket for the game. Kaylee decided not to go to the game because Maddie was not going. After the game, this person said they went to a place called Redacted. Kaylee texted Blank and asked if she was going to go to the corner club. They said they would go after the fights on TV were over. At approximately 10:59, Gonzalez texts this person asking if she needed a ride. Kaylee text read, "Me, Maddie, and so and so are getting one so we can pick you up." This person said that she was at the corner club when she saw the message. Okay, just for clarification, this is talking about the fight that were going on that night, which was a UFC fight. It wasn't the Fight Club, okay? Just for clarification. Not that I should need to say that, but you know. At approximately 10:30 to 11 p.m., Blank saw Mogan and Kaylee at the corner club. At approximately 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m., this person left the corner club with her other friend and boyfriend and went home. They said that after they got home, her friend was drunk and she was trying to put her to bed. Her boyfriend went to bed in her room. I asked this person how well she knew the victims, and she said she met Maddie her freshman year and knew her through mutual friends. This person said she met Kaylee her freshman year, were both in the same sorority. This person said Gonzalez was her best friend. This person said she did not know Xana as well and described her as being a big party girl and would attend the same parties as her. Xana was best friend with a lot of the, I guess, sorority or whatever, or fraternity, whichever. I asked if Kaylee ever mentioned if she was ever followed or talked about some weird activity recently. This person said Kaylee had never mentioned that to her. I asked her if Kaylee had anybody who had issues with her, and this person said Kaylee never mentioned it to her. This person said Kaylee was the type to go out and meet random people at places like John's Alley and would get rides from random people. That's not safe, is it? But hey, who are we to judge, right? This person said Kaylee and another person had broken up recently after a long relationship. Sergeant Hoaxey, or hold on a second. I asked this person where her house was in relation to the victim's house. She said both houses shared a backyard with a chain link fence separating the 2 yards. So maybe this is 11:26. Sergeant Hoaxey asked if she heard any strange noises. She said she did not. I asked if Gonsalves had always stayed at the same apartment. She said Gonsalves had stayed there all summer. She said Kaylee's room in the summer was on the main floor. At the end of the summer, Kaylee moved into the room upstairs. This person said she had heard from one of the girl's friends they went to Coeur d'Alene for a week, and when they returned, they noticed the rear sliding glass door was open. They did not know the date of the incident. That's not weird, is it? Sergeant Hoaxey asked about drug use. This person said she never saw Kaylee or Maddie do drugs. She said she wasn't sure about Xana. She said they probably had, but it wasn't anything that was prominent. This person said we should talk to some of Xana's friends, a long list of them. I asked if there was any other information she feels we should know or any other people we should talk to. She said we should speak to all these people. So one thing that this is dispelling from these people's interviews. These are not interrogations, these are interviews. One thing that is dispelling is there wouldn't have been a motive for the Aryan Brotherhood to have killed these people. That is already evident that that had nothing to do with it. It was not a cartel hit. It was not any of that. Um,
And
so
I would like to address the Adderall just because everybody's wanting to be talking about, the rolled up $2 bill and stuff like that.
okay.
Adderall in college is pretty normal because, especially like during finals and stuff like that, because they're staying up, they're studying, they're partying, they're doing the college thing, you know. And I'm not saying any kind of drugs is good. I'm a recovering addict, but let's keep it real, okay? There was no meth, there was no heroin, there was no anything like that going on in that house. Were they snorting Adderall? Probably. Were they smoking pot? Probably. Were they doing a hell of a lot of drinking? Definitely. Were they doing a hell of a lot of partying? Definitely. But you're not going to have all these kids that are graduating and doing jobs and everything else if they're just a bunch of drug addicts in a drug house.
And due to 37 pages in, all these interviews that they've given so far did not paint a picture that there was drug activity going in and out of that house. There was not substantial amount of drugs being brought in, taken out, sold, dispensed, any of that. Don't you think some of these people that were interviewed would have said that?
I mean, were drugs prominent there? They're prominent everywhere.
Of course, of course. But I'm just saying that these documents dispel
Oh,
any of the
definitely, definitely.
any of the theories that a lot of people have pushed for a lot of time that this was a drug hit, that this was one of the people that, they were getting back to these people because of the mothers.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. As far as the kids are concerned, you can guarantee that if there was any kind of big time anything going on and it showed up in the toxicology, that would have been all over the place. Okay.
Of
And the
course.
thing about it is, you don't go in and do that to poor people over Adderall.
I agree. So did Maddie flush $10,000 worth of Adderall down the toilet? No.
I mean, getting Ritalin and Adderall is pretty much going in there and convincing your doctor, I've got ADHD. I mean,
Right. So it's your turn. You're up.
oh, I'm up. My turn. All right, so we are on supplement 12, and we are on November the 18th, 2022. ISP Detective Pacina and Detective Hoxie, or however y'all do it, conducted an interview with blank blank. The interview is in reference to the murder of Madison Mogan, Kaylee, Dana, and Ethan, which occurred at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, on November the 13th. The interview took place at the Idaho State District Office in Meridian, Idaho. Witness is an individual white male from Eagle, Idaho. And number one, on November the 18th, 2022, at approximately 11:34 a.m., ISP Detective Pacina and I conducted an interview with blank blank. The interview is in reference to the murder of Madison Kaylee Zan. Oh, I just read all that. Number two, blank reported the following. Number three, he lived at blank, Moscow, Idaho, while attending the University of Idaho. His house was across the street from where the homicide occurred. He knew Kaylee since her freshman year. Kaylee also dated his friend blank, 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 and him, oh, wait a minute, dated his friend blank, 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 and him were in blank fraternity together. Kaylee was in blank, which was down the road from his fraternity. He wasn't extremely close to Kaylee, but was friends with her. Blank and Kaylee had been dating since their sophomore year in high school. He thought they attended Lake City High School in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Him and Kaylee had been dating on and off for the last few months because Kaylee was moving to Texas or North Carolina after the semester. He didn't think Blank wanted to break up with Kaylee, but Blank was understanding. He thought Kaylee initiated the breakup. There wasn't any turmoil in their relationship, and they were talking and hanging out together. Kaylee and Blank also had a dog together. Blank didn't talk to him about his relationship with Kaylee. Blank worked at the blank and the blank. He thought Blank might have quit the blank. He also knew the other victims, Maddie, Maddie and Xana. Xana had gone over to his house a few times to see his roommate. Blank blank from last year, but blank transferred schools to blank blank. He didn't really talk to Maddie, but knew her first name. The other two girls, blank and blank, were younger and didn't really know them. His house was 3 stories where he lived with blank a bunch of people. He and blank lived in the top floor. He never noticed anything out of place near his house or the victim's house. On November the 12th, the U of I football team was playing UC Davis at 4 p.m. He woke up that day, got some food, started tailgating. After tailgating, he went home and then out to the bar. At approximately 11 p.m., he got to the corner club where, while he was at the corner club, he saw Kaylee, but couldn't remember if she was with anyone. 12:30 a.m., a sober member from his fraternity arrived to drive Blank and him home. As they were leaving the corner club, they were pulled over for an expired registration. The cops let them go, and he was driven home. Blank, blank, and blank got home 30 minutes after him. At his house, he hung out, and drank beers with a bunch of people and a girl. After hanging out, he went to bed, which was early for him. He never heard anything of Kaylee having a stalker until after her death. Kaylee worked at blank where he heard she had a weird person coming in for her. Ooh. He heard this information from blank. He also heard from his girlfriend blank blank. Kaylee had a weird guy following her around Winco. This information was from a third party. He wasn't aware of any of the victims using drugs. Wow, I tell you what, that's just the typical conversation now. No drugs. He and his roommates blank. He never texted or called Kaylee. He wasn't aware of any recent parties at the victim's house. He wanted us to know that blank heard a dog barking around 4 a.m., reported it to the police the following day. See, that just shows how unusual it is for a dog to be barking. Because, around here, I mean, there's so many dogs that if I reported it every time, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not it's obviously unusual there. Blank did not have injuries to his hands, and oh man, it concluded at 11:56 a.m. Wow.
Wow.
Your
So
turn.
let's talk a minute.
Okay, let me flip my stuff, and I'll be right back.
All right. Chat, what do you think about? I'm going to ask you guys because I want to know what you are thinking. We don't want to not include you. What are y'all thinking about what we're reading as far as these people giving these descriptive interviews 5 days after the incident? Do you believe that they were told what to say? Do you believe that they got together and made up a story? Do you believe that they shouldn't be taken as factual? What do y'all believe about these interviews that we're reading? Because they're from multiple people. They're not just from the people that lived in the house. So if people are gonna say that the people that lived in the house, the surviving roommates, had something to do with this, don't you think that all these people would have said, well, Dylan really didn't like Kaylee. She gave her the side eye every time they took a picture, or they were always picking on Dylan, or they were always picking on Bethany. So they would have had motive to kill them. Don't you think somebody somewhere would have brought this forward? As close as these people were to all these different people, don't you think that there would have been some kind of semblance of knowledge that there was turmoil in that house?
Here's my thing is if there's something really to it and you want to do this big live and you want to talk about how everything is wrong and this is a lie and that's a lie and this and this and this, why are you doing it based on mainstream media? Show it to me in the documents. We have 600 pages of Idaho State Police documents. Show me the lies. Show me the wrongdoings. Show me everything that you're telling me, not from mainstream media. Okay? Show me in the legal documents. And that's the reason that you're doing a 3 and 4 hour live, ranting and raving. And I tried to come on panel. Don't get me started because I can have a civil, respectful debate. And people are afraid of that because I'm going to go back to the research. I'm going to go back to the documents. I'm going to go back to the legal stuff. Screw mainstream media.
You couldn't have, you said the words right out of my mouth. I mean, I was thinking the same thing whenever you guys were talking about this. I was like, well, you don't like mainstream media, but yet you're going to use them for every kind of discussion that you have. Because when you read the documents, all you say is, it doesn't make sense. This is a lie. This is not true. When were you in Moscow investigating this crime on the ground? When was this so
Well,
corrupt?
I know I'm on your panel and I'm not going to call anybody names or anything, but this is from me and from me only.
Okay.
To Truth and Transparency, to Dago, to Jules, to any of these creators, to Pavioli, to anybody, I respectfully ask you, join me on panel. Let's talk about it. Let's don't do the one sided. Let's don't do the your take, my take. Let's have a discussion. And that's to anybody. I may be a small channel, but I can guarantee you I can hold my own. I guarantee you I can be civil. I guarantee you I can be respectful. I guarantee you I can listen. So for anybody that would like to have a discussion, please get in touch with me.
There, you heard it. You heard it. Because somebody's going to go back and tell it. So, I mean, y'all heard it. I've always said, hey, come up on panel. We'll talk. But nobody wants to come up on panel because they think that we're going to just call them names or whatever. If you're so scared that we're going to do what you do to us and don't even give us the time of day to defend ourselves or our channels, of course you're not gonna take her up on our offer. I
Well, I
like
mean,
this.
the thing about it is the only way that somebody would take somebody up on an offer like that. I love you, Daniel DTS. I love you. What's the obsession? Is if it's a channel like that that has the bigger subscribers, that they can get the clicks and the views from, and that is not in any kind of disrespect against anybody. That's
Right.
just saying that they're not going to come on somebody's channel that is small like mine because they can't get the clicks and the views from it. How are you going to go against somebody that's only got 700 subscribers? I
Right.
mean, my subscriber count has nothing to do with my knowledge. And I love every subscriber I have, and I respect every subscriber I have.
Right. Kels has a good point. She says, and just for the record, using your phone for times and points of reference are just what we do now. It's not sketchy or weird. And Firefly also said a good point too. She said there's no way 13 plus various people at WBS are making up stories about BK. They're all consistent and follow a theme.
And here's my question. I've asked it to everybody, and I can't get a firm answer because I don't know if I'm asking it correctly. If we are going to use mental illness, autism, Asperger's, and all this dexterity, crippling hands, can't button my top button, can't tie my shoes, I look at you wrong, and all this, how the hell did he legally buy a gun? Because if that's the kind of people that we are legally selling guns to that can't even tie their shoe, we have a problem.
Yeah,
And that's
right.
not getting into any kind of politics or anything like that. But if we're going to excuse these behaviors on this level, then please explain to me why it's not excused on another level.
I like that. I like that. I mean, because you're saying that this person wasn't culpable, that he was just a victim, just like the four victims, but yet you're taking up for him being in prison
Yeah.
when
I mean,
when
they
he
were taking
admits,
advantage of this poor autistic frail being. Well, this autistic frail being has a Glock
yeah, and a K bar that he purchased for
and a K
himself,
bar.
that he purchased
But
for
notice he
himself.
had 3 empty cartridges, so somebody in that house emptied those cartridges.
Of course.
Wonder if they did that because they were afraid of the frail being.
And you know who else had a Glock? Danny Rolling and a K bar.
So,
Interesting story.
again, I will ask that question to someone that may be more knowledgeable of me and has a bigger channel than me. Can someone please explain to me how he bought a gun?
Firefly says he was 28-year-old man who was probably told time and time again not to stare at people, but he chose to behave poorly at WSU and make all those people or those women uncomfortable.
And do
Notice
you know
that.
the response to that? I don't believe those things. I don't believe those 400 people that complained. I want to know the dates of them. It is so easy to come out and make a complaint about somebody after they're already in prison. What?
I wasn't watching, so I don't know. I don't know what was being said, but I don't doubt that one bit. Another great point was that he was the only person ever removed from TA position for behavior such as that. The
Okay,
only
another
the
good
only
point.
person.
The only look. Do you know how hard it is to get kicked out of a TA position? Do you know how hard it is to lose your funding? It's hard. Okay, I mean, and I didn't go to college. I mean, but from the research I've done, it doesn't happen every day. And the thing about it is, how many universities of that size do you know has harassment and red flag seminars while the person is still there? And then after they leave, Well, after they are made to leave because they go to jail for murder, they have another seminar.
So answer me this too, Nina. If you don't believe that those statements were accurate and Brian Enton was lying and Ashley Banfield was lying, have you even got to that part of the documents yet where they were reading word for word what was being said?
Well, see, here's the thing about it is where the mess up came with Banfield is they put the Kaylee sentence in with the complaint documents.
Right.
So the complaint documents are on the wayside because now we can fight if he said Kaylee or not. I do believe that that was a mistake, but
Hmm.
that does not take away from the legal documents and the legal complaints.
These are legal documents right here. That's why they're redacted. That's why there's redactions in these legal documents. Their originals aren't redacted. Their original audio, visual, all that is not redacted. But we're not allowed to see that at this point because they're trying to protect the identities of the people that came forward with tips. How can people not see that that's necessary in this day and age? How many people have been doxxed,
And
ran
just
through the
so Lan
mud?
and and just so Lana knows that when I say her name as far as a discussion, I'm not talking one of those crazy debate discussions like she had with another creator. I'm not
Right.
psycho. I'm not crazy. I'm not anything like that. I'm not going to yell, kick, and scream and like a banshee and all that stuff.
It boils down to this. It boils down to this, Nina. We're talking about these documents, and people that have read these documents understand these documents. They understand the written language. They're not looking for a biased opinion. To be told that you're being biased because you're reading this in the way that it was written, that is not bias. That is evidence. There's a difference. Bias is standing up there and saying, I don't believe this because of this and this and this and this. To, like you say, to get up there and rant and rave about mainstream media, about some particular person that's in prison at this point for 4 murders, but you're worried about the victims and you don't consider Dylan and Bethany victims because nothing happened to them, and you say you yourself have PTSD and you're mad because somebody is getting funding for theirs after having to experience something like this, as a grown ass man, you're comparing yourself to a 19-year-old youth. That is just disgusting. It is
Well,
disgusting on so many levels.
not calling them victims and stuff like that. Do people not realize that the life that they knew it ended that day? Ended. Yes, they are still breathing. Yes, they are still walking around, but are they living or are
No.
they just breathing? There's a big difference between living and existing.
And let me ask you a question, Nina. If we found something that didn't make sense in these documents to us, we didn't understand it. We didn't understand the verbiage. There was misspelled words. The sentence structure didn't go flowingly. Would that mean that the sentence lacked evidence because of that technicality?
The
Let me
thing
ask you.
about it is just like a few minutes ago when they said they rode by the house and there was a police car there at 11:45 and I'm like, "Wait a minute. They didn't call until 11:56." We noticed stuff like that and then you had to call me and out and say, "Okay, it says approximate." But the thing about it is we're not going through the documents just saying, "Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right." If we see something, we question it. You know, and that's all I'm saying is there not anything that can be questionable that is maybe on the perpetrator's side of it.
Okay, Moscow PD, ISP, and the FBI were involved in this along with other agencies. You don't think that anybody was checking behind everybody else's work to make sure they weren't making mistakes? You don't think that the FBI was making sure that the ISP and Moscow agencies weren't
Honey,
making mistakes?
honey, they ain't nobody questioning stuff like that. Come on now. It was said that they took the sample, put it in a little bag, and took it to Texas. Really? Have you read how that thing was packed up? It was not in just a little black bag, a little plastic bag.
How
They
was it?
didn't take a Ziploc bag, throw it down in there, and say, "Here, hop on a plane and go to Texas."
And it's also been said, how come the sheath wasn't tested? It was just the button.
And where the hell did that come from? Who knows? Did somebody literally say, "Okay, going to Othram, why are you going to send the sheath?" Othram doesn't deal with that. ISP does. Othram only deals with the STR. That's it.
How does anybody know exactly what was tested and what was not?
But that's what I'm saying. What did they do with the sheath? They just scraped So I guess when I found the sheath, I took a knife and I scraped the skin cells out from under the little snap and I threw it in a Ziploc bag. And somebody drove it to ISP, and that's all they did was test the skin cell. One skin cell. How you know it was one skin cell? Were you there? Did you scrape it? You know, so why could it not be? We took the sheath and we put it in a bag and we tagged it and we did the chain of custody and it made it where it needed to be. And by the way, does everybody know that Idaho State Forensics Lab is number 13 in the world, not the United States? Okay, not a continent. The world, flat, round, I don't give a damn world. Number 13. You don't get to be number 13 in the world if you're doing cockamamie shit like that.
Well, the DNA sample inflated. Didn't you remember that? The DNA sample inflated after they got to it. So they must have added other stuff to get to him. They act like they had Brian on their radar. I even heard somewhere that they had him on their radar as early as November. How in the hell is that possible whenever the documents state he was on nobody's radar until the 21st of December? Where did they read this
Now,
stuff at?
I do think that the chief of police in Washington said that they found the white car, blah, 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 and they turned it in as a tip. It was the wrong year. Nobody ever thought anything about it. And by then, the tip line had been taken over by the FBI. MPD was not doing it anymore because there were so many tips coming in. So it did not go straight to MPD. It went to the FBI tip line.
Right,
And they had so many tips coming in. Just because it went in November doesn't mean that they got it in November.
right. I mean, these interviews were being done in November, obviously. And let's question why these interviews were done 5 days after the murders. Why weren't they done the day of the murder? That's going to be another narrative. They waited so long to interview these people, they all got together to say the same story.
And, okay, fine, calling out the lies about the garbage, the lies about the FBI following him and stuff like that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the thing about it is they could not come out and defend that kind of stuff because of the gag order. So they had to sit there and listen to mainstream media and YouTubers and sleuthers and Facebook and TikTok and all social media and all the forums out there run with that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they could, they debunked it. So, how is that on them? We did that. We being social media.
Good point. Good point. There are some people making some great points in the chat as well. Great points. I would put
Okay,
them on.
I'm gonna flip my stuff. Be right back.
All right. You are making some great points. Thank you so much for being here today and hanging with Nina and myself. And no, we don't let these people get to us. It just, like I said, it's like this thing that people create this thought process that us versus them. I've never been versus anybody but myself until people start talking about my channel. And that's whenever I take it personal, because I don't ever say anything about other people until they talk about my channel specifically. And there's been some people that have done that. So other than that, it's fair game. And at that point, I'm going to show your ignorance to the world, at least the people that watch my channel. You know, I've always heard you don't have to defend something so hard if it's true. The fact that people have to defend this person so hard, it should raise an eyebrow for people to say, well, why do people get so mad about this person being in prison? One person out of all these people that are killing people on a daily basis, what makes this person so damn special? What makes him what makes him so special? Oh, they're not now, Salty. They were talking about me a while back because they do that little juvenile thing. Well, since this person's on your panel or this person's in your chat, then we're gonna align them with you. But regardless, I enjoy that they gave us these documents. It's a lot of damn documents and a lot of reading. It's a lot to go through. But for once, we're getting the pieces that we didn't get before from the people that were interviewed that knew these people the best. We've always wondered what type of individuals these four people were and what their lives were like. Now we're hearing it. Now we're seeing it through these interviews. Another person to vouch for the dead other than their families. So if that doesn't make it any more real to you, I don't know what will be. We'll never get a video of him walking into the slider, committing these murders just like a movie. We'll never get that. So until you're waiting for that, you're going to be waiting a very long time. And it just shows how closed-minded certain people are regarding this case. Those of us that review these documents and talk about other avenues such as blood, such as transfer DNA, all this stuff, we've tried to look beyond just the individual that's in prison. You know,
Don't even get me started on the DNA.
you all know he came through them tunnels. Dago and that crazy bitch Lana are on point. Big B, welcome. I've never seen you before, but thank you for being here, buddy. That is his words. That is his words. I don't pay attention to what the trailer park is doing. I do hate when people come to my chat repeating the bullshit. Yes, I'm the same way, Salty. I'm the same way.
And I think that's the reason that it's not necessarily trying to be a YouTube police, or it's not necessarily letting stupid get to you or anything like that. It's that when you have bigger creators, little creators with that many people in their comments that are being fed this stuff, if they're going and taking it to Salty's comments, they're taking it to Drunk Turkey's comments. They're taking it
Hmm.
to What's the Obsession comments. They're taking it to uh, whoever's comments. So now all that's getting dispersed out into the comment world. And maybe this is just passion of saying, stop, let's talk about it, let's discuss it. Let's don't just be keyboard warriors and put it in comments. Let's discuss it.
But you know as well as I do, we can't change another person until they see their own inadequacies, you know? And some of these people, they have to know. Some of these people have grandchildren, daughters, all this, but yet they let people sit there and degrade women on their panels as if they're okay with it. They have wives, they have all these people that are females, but yet they let people get up there on their panels and degrade these surviving roommates. And talk about OnlyFans and all this other crap about these surviving or about the victims. It's just trash. It's trash. Just trash. But it's your turn. We're on page 44. This interview,
Firefly just said, even if you have the video, they wouldn't believe it.
no, because videos can be manipulated. Well, thanks, Big B. That means a lot, bro. I've never seen you in here, but I'm glad to see you in here. It's always good to see different people. And you know, go ahead, Nina. This person is a male, 21.
Oh, well. At male
Nina,
21, and he's in Eagle, Idaho.
do you have your own documents up, or do I need to scroll
No,
to?
I've got them up. I've got them
Okay,
up.
I'm gonna go take a
All
break.
right. Okay. Number one, on November the 18th, 2022, ISP Detective Sergeant Hawks Hoaxey and Casina interviewed the University of Idaho student blank. Number two, I asked blank to run me through his day. Blank stated. Number three, blank said he started his day at approximately 10:30 to 11 a.m. Got some food and ate. He took his girlfriend blank some beer at Treehouse. They started drinking prior to the Vandal game. Number four, at approximately 4 p.m., blank said he went to the game. Blank returned home between 8 to 9 p.m. and had a sandwich. Blank said he took a 2-hour nap. I mean, all this is just normal stuff. I mean, number five, at approximately 11 p.m., Blank woke up. His roommate was wanting to go to the bar. They went to the corner club, had a few beers, and hung out. Number six, at approximately 1:45 a.m., their fraternity president, blank blank, picked up a bunch of people and drove them home. Wow, that's pretty cool. Number seven, after getting home, they hung out for about 15 or 20 minutes to check on his friend who had consumed too much alcohol. Man, all these dang drug fiend freak people, and they're checking on people about alcohol. I tell you what, I just can't imagine. Number eight, blank said he went to his room where his girlfriend was already in bed. Blank said they talked for a bit and believed he fell asleep around 2:45 a.m. Number nine, I asked Blank if he heard any noises that could have woken him up. Blank said no. He did say his friend blank blank told him he heard a dog barking between 4:15 and 5 a.m. Said it sounded like Murphy. Murphy was a dog who shared between their two houses. Blank said Murphy was at the girl's house that day. Number 10. I asked Blank how close he knew the girls. He said, I'm like a handshake to them. Blank knew Kaylee through Blank. They had dated for a while. He never really talked to Maddie. He was friends with Xana and he met Ethan at an event called Rush. I asked Blank if he seen any of the victims that night. He said he saw Kaylee, and Maddie at the corner club. Blank said they were with blank blank. He said they were heading to John's alley. Said he heard Blank was kicked out of John's alley. After John's, the three of them went to the grub truck and believed they went home afterwards. I asked Blank if any of the victims were involved in the use of drugs. He said he knew blank blank and Kaylee and Maddie had blank. He wasn't sure if Kernodle blank. Number 13. He asked if the girls had a party the night before or the day of the incident. Said he saw a bunch of people dressed up and walking up to the house with speakers. He believed they had a formal the night before the incident. He asked if he had heard about a stalker. Blank said he heard from blank blank Sunday night. Kaylee was followed to her car in the parking lot at Winco. He heard Kaylee might have been followed in the store as well. He asked if blank how he heard about the incident. He said that blank blank best friend FaceTimed her and said there's a bunch of police officers outside. Do you know what's going on? Blank went upstairs and saw the officers taping off the scene. Said after the Winco thing happened, blank blank told him a couple of weeks ago all the roommates were out of the house getting groceries. When they returned, their sliding glass door was open. I asked if there was any information he feels they should know. Blank said he heard from blank that one of the girls was downstairs. When she opened the door, she saw a person in a ski mask, made eye contact, slammed her door, and locked it. Interview was terminated. Wow.
Wow. No doubt.
I know, such evilness.
Keep going. You're doing wonderful. White female, 22. I'm not
Okay,
gonna.
I was.
I'm not.
Are
We're
you?
not
Are you
gonna
going to do?
read all.
Are
We're
you?
not gonna
Are you
read
going to do?
all.
Are you going to do comments? Because I was doing comments.
Okay, go ahead and let me know what the comments are saying.
I think Big B has made a big splash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody likes Big B.
Okay.
Hey, it's better than the big D's in prison.
Yeah, that's true. um.
Scroll
Let's
up,
see.
12. Okay, Firefly at 150 says scroll up, 12.
Okay, this one says
Big B, did you have a ride in the van with Jody Arias? Jeff, behave.
number 2 says she takes online classes and lives in Boise. She lived at the 1122 King Road house last year while in the blank sorority. She lived in a room that so and so is currently in. Maddie is the only one currently in the house that was in the house last year, too. Maddie was her best friend. She also knew Xana very well and became close to Kaylee. Maddie FaceTimed her that night, 12:40 a.m. Moscow time. Can we clarify that? Because I've heard some other people not really clear on the Moscow Boise time. There's an hour difference, right? So when these interviews were taking place, those that were in Boise were recalling the information, trying to decipher between Moscow time of the incident, the area, the time when they were there, versus where they're at today. Does that sound clear?
Yes.
Okay, so for people that don't understand the time difference, that's why they discuss Moscow time and Boise time. So Maddie was at the corner club. The conversation was only about 40 seconds. Maddie was with her friend, so and so, with phone number so and so. She communicated with Maddie every day. Maddie's boyfriend was JS, right? He was with a group of friends Saturday night at the bars in Boise. She was told by this person of a time at Winco when someone followed Kaylee out of the building to her car. There was also another time when the roommates of 1122 King Road went out for a bit, and when they came back, the back door was open after being previously locked. Okay, so this person that was trying to throw a shot at Kaylee at Winco was one of the individuals that was deemed an alternative suspect by Ann Taylor. That was not, they didn't prove any evidence about that, so that was thrown out of the hearing. Is that not correct, Nina? She heard Kaylee was walking her dog once and had seen someone hiding behind a garbage dumpster. Kaylee felt someone had been watching her. This was about a month prior. So and so had moved into the 1122 King Road house this semester. Her boyfriend was so and so, lived in Boise. She thought we should talk to blank blank. Last year, her friend blank was contacted by a man she didn't know who knew her name and major. She kept seeing this man. He once came up to her at the corner club. He knew Maddie's major. This person is still on the lease of the house. The guy was about their age. The interview was concluded at 1:31. So once again, this information that this person was telling at the interview, I'm sure they went and talked to these individuals whom they put out there to address certain statements that were made. Once again, to eliminate them as suspects, not make them a suspect. You're up, Nina. I guess she went to go get some food. Okay, Firefly says, but your phone automatically adjusts the time, so I call bullshit. Okay. I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't know how it works over there in Idaho. Did you record the jail cell video asking for a friend? I know who you are. Just that's how I even don't even know.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, you're up.
All
So
right.
this individual was talking about um this one's an interesting one. This person contacted Maddie and knew her major was around their age, knew her name and her major. They came back and the slider was open after being locked.
Right.
So maybe they weren't stalked, but do you think somebody was breaking
They
into
were
the house?
definitely being played with.
Do you think somebody broke into the house as a sign of, look, I can get to you?
Oh yeah, I definitely think that someone, we will say, was playing games.
And then that person said that Kaylee was out walking the dog and saw someone hiding behind a dumpster.
Right.
I'd heard early on that BK was being seen where Kaylee was a lot, but I don't remember who said that. And I kind of discounted it as just, YouTube talk. Nothing more. Wow. Do you think that he was doing these types of games with them?
Oh yeah, I think he's the one that did the March 22 car incident at 11:26.
He was a burglar, right? That was his MO.
Yes, and the thing about it wasn't just burglary. His interest was sexual assault burglary.
Right.
But hey, let's give him a gun.
All right. This individual is a female. She's 22, unknown ethnicity.
How do
She's
you have
in,
an unknown? How do you have your unknown race?
I don't know. This
Okay,
person's from Boise, Idaho. They were interviewed. She's a Idaho U of I graduate.
they were interviewed in Boise.
Okay, you're up. She
We are
graduated
on
in,
supplement number 15 on page 48. We got a hell of a long way to go. Number one, on November the 18th, ISP Detective Hoaxie in Pacina interviewed University of Idaho graduate blankety blank. I asked blank to run me through her day. She graduated in May and her name was still on the list, so we know who that is. She planned on returning to Moscow for work. Blank boyfriend, blank blank, was living there as well. She would visit often. The last time she visited was Halloween weekend. Maddie was her best friend. Xana Canodal and her were in the same sorority. Kaylee was Mogan was Maddie's childhood best friend. Blank said she never hung out with Ethan. The last time she spoke to Maddie was a week prior to the incident. This one's sad. I asked Blank if Maddie ever mentioned anything about a stalker. She said no. He asked if Maddie how the house. Oh, ask Blank asked Maddie how the house was doing. Maddie said the house and the roommates were great. They had a good system in place. Blank Blank was Maddie's boyfriend. They had been dating approximately 2 years. Their relationship was good and they never had arguments. She never observed any arguments between them. They asked what room she lived in when she stayed there for school. Blank said her room was upstairs on the left and Maddie's room was on the right. Over the summer, she still had some belongings there because she planned on going back. Towards the end of July, Kaylee texted Blank and asked if she could move into her room. Blank told her yes because she had decided not to go back to the house and stayed in Boise. Kaylee worked from home remotely and was home most of the time. Kaylee had a roommate who was living with her for the summer, blank blank. I asked if she knew all the tenants who currently resided in the house. Blank said along with the three involved, blank and blank, blank lived in Reno, so we know who that is. Blank kept in contact with her regularly. She met Maddie in 2019 and had been friends with her since. She said Maddie was the most anti conflict person ever. Blank told her the Friday before the incident, the girls had a blank sorority formal. The formal was kept intimate. The, they only had people they knew at the formal and it did not get out of hand. Blank described the house she lived in as open door policy, meaning people were constantly going in and out of the house. She was also scared of something like that happening. She would triple check the lock on her bedroom door because she didn't feel safe. Maddie would leave her bedroom door unlocked most of the time, as well as her window. There were times she would hear footsteps in the house and would blow it off, thinking someone had a friend over. They asked while she was living there if there were any break ins and if she heard of a stalker. There would be times she would wake up and would see the sliding glass door was unlocked. She thought it might have been from someone forgetting to lock the door after having people over the night before. They asked about other times the glass door was found unlocked or opened. Blank told her a while back they had all gone out. When they got back, they noticed a sliding glass door was open. The girls were usually pretty good at making sure the doors were locked. Most people used the front door. Only those close friends would use the sliding glass door. She had three different run-ins with a white male who she described as approximately 5'5", fit build, sleek black hair, clean shave, possibly mid-20s. The first time was at the corner club. He approached her and called her by name. Blank did not know him. He told her he had come back and changed his major. A little while after the incident during Parents' Weekend, Blank saw the same guy at the restaurant called Nectar. He was sitting at the bar with his back to her. As she was leaving, he turned and stared at her as she left. She told her boyfriend about the weird guy kept seeing. The third time was walking down the street in town. The male was with a group of guys across the street. He turned and stared at her as she walked by. She told her boyfriend about the guy. Her boyfriend was going to talk to the guy, but she did not let him. She never figured out who the guy was, but did remember what he looked like. They asked if Kaylee ever talked about a stalker. Blank told her about a time at Winco, which we all know about that. They asked if she heard about how the girls' day had gone. She heard about the day's activities from Blank and through Snapchat. Blank said they had a really good day and had fun. It sounded like they started at their house and went to the Blank apartments. She believed at some point Kernodle and her boyfriend, Blank and Blank, went back to the house because they weren't 21 years old. Maddie and Kaylee then went to the corner club. Blank told her the last text she got from Maddie was she just woke up from a nap and was going to the corner club. I asked Blank if Blank had mentioned what she thought happened. It was game day, so everyone had been drinking. Blank told her she wasn't sure when Kernodle and Chapin got home. Kernodle was with Blank, and they were home before Maddie and Kaylee got back. Blank told her she went upstairs and ate grub truck with Maddie and Kaylee. She went back downstairs to go to bed. I asked Blank if Blank mentioned seeing anybody else in the house or if anybody came home with Maddie and Kaylee. She said no. It sounded like the three of them just eating grub truck. Blank told Blank she woke up around 4 a.m. to music playing. She hoped Kaylee would turn it off soon. Blank had said she could hear Kaylee and their dog, Murphy, playing upstairs. Shortly after that, Blank told Blank the music turned off and she heard Kaylee say, I think someone is here. Blank told Blank she heard someone run upstairs and run back down. Blank said she peeked out of her room and did not see anything but vaguely hear someone in the bathroom. She called Blank and Blank told her to come down to her room. After a few minutes, Blank told her she opened her bedroom door and saw a person standing out there and they made eye contact. Blank said he then walked out the glass door. They asked if Blank had described the person to her. Blank told her she felt hazy and didn't remember many details. Blank told her she thought the person was about her height and his face and forehead covered. Blank said she ran to the Blank room and locked the door. Asked why she thought someone would want to harm her friends. She thought it was someone who was watching. She was always afraid of that. She's always had an uneasy, weird feeling at the house, which is one of the reasons she didn't want to go back. She felt the house was easy to get into and easy to watch because they didn't have any blinds over the windows and the layout of the house. Blank had told Blank the sliding glass door was broken at one point. If the door was jiggled just right, the door would unlock. If the front door was locked, you had to enter the code on the keypad. But if the deadbolt wasn't locked, the door could be opened. I opened. I opened. I asked Blank if there was anybody else we should talk to. We should talk to blank blank, and the interview was concluded. You're up.
Let's stop at this one because I want to talk about this. This is obviously AC, right?
Yes.
Um, so she asked obviously DM what she had seen or heard, and she recited almost verbatim
Verbatim.
what she
Yep.
told the police.
Yep.
So isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean, because now she's just talking to a friend.
Right. Why would she necessarily make stuff up if it's not what she told them? You know, she told her verbatim. And I remember reading a comment that was verbatim from what this person said on social media.
Right.
So obviously she put it on social media, possibly, or somebody who's her friend put it on social media.
Yeah. Yeah, the one
Because,
that you're talking about was actually a third party.
yeah, because they said, I'm a friend of a friend who knows
Right.
Dylan. And this is what she told me that Dylan had told her that she woke up hazy, blah, blah, blah. She didn't know if it was a dream. Once again, another person reciting exactly what Dylan had said.
Right.
So
But
we're almost
Dylan's got it all wrong.
do what?
I said, but Dylan's got it all wrong.
No, Dylan was part of it. That's why,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot.
she was covering her ass.
Right.
But now she's affected by this crime and asking for a GoFundMe because she had something to do with it. How much does that make sense to you?
Yeah, because I want to keep bringing attention to myself. The
Right.
guy's in prison. I got away with it. Now I'm just going to quietly go off and never be mentioned again because the more I keep myself in the public, I'm going to get caught.
Right. Right. Okay, Kels. We'll probably be on it. What time did I say tonight? 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central to keep reading some of this. I just want to take a break, let Nina go eat, and I want to go conjure up a little snack myself. Talk
You
to my
want to go
girlfriend.
to the pool. You want to go to the pool.
No, I want to have a snack and talk to my girlfriend.
Okay. Okay.
And I hope you guys have enjoyed what we've been reading. What our comments are, our commentary, the chat, the wonderful chat that we have. And once again, y'all heard Nina say, if y'all want to have a debate, contact her. She's not hard to find. Her channel is warning label Nina, and I will come up on panel also. And we can all have a powwow.
And I mean I want everybody to know that is in no kind of threatening, no kind of apprehension, no kind of I'm mad or anything like that. It is a genuine let's have a discussion about it.
Yeah, because they always say that other side, oh, they don't even want to talk about it in a different way. They instantly call you names and block you.
No, I mean it's not going to be anything like that. I mean, before I'll do that. I mean, no, no. I mean, we are all adults. We can all have conversations. We can all have opinions. I don't want everybody to have my opinion. How boring would life be?
Exactly. Exactly.
And I mean, the thing about it is, a lot of people say, well, she's safe putting that request out there because nobody watches her channel. Well, there's people in the comments. So if nobody watches my channel, can somebody get the message to them?
Right. I'm sure the message has already been delivered. there was plenty of people watching. They're not watching anymore. So, and this is not what my channel uses. I mean, my channel is about being honest and putting our our thoughts out there without hiding behind trying to be a person in front of the camera versus a person off the camera. I believe that Nina and myself are the same person off the camera that we are on the camera, you know?
I know I am. I come with a warning label in real life, a warning label on social media, a warning label in jail. Wherever I go, I get a warning label.
Well, Nina, is there anything you want to say to the chat?
Y'all come back tonight. Y'all behave. Y'all be kind. And don't forget Dabo's Kennels.
All right. We'll see you later, Nina. Have a
All
good
right.
day.
See y'all later.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And thank you so much for your comments and your wanting to spend your Sunday with Nina and myself. Until next time, Maestro, cue that music.